partisan group. So that's a way that when I'm talking about collaboration and changing how we collaborate, I would rejoin that organization on day one. Now, another example of how the DA's office should be more proactive. The Adams County, the most recent Adams County DA, Don Quick, Dave Young is the new one. Don Quick started a program called the Adams County Youth Initiative, where he brought together a bunch of divergent groups that were trying to offer youth services, after school programs, to try to keep kids out from getting in trouble in that very dangerous hour after school before parents get home. And what he was able to do by bringing those groups together, they've got federal grants, and they were able to reduce juvenile filings by over 50%, and filings on violent felonies by juveniles by 80%. So that's the example of sort of collaboration that I think we have.
Question? You know, I think one of the most pressing issues that I've seen and I'm concerned with today in our society is the school-to-prison pipeline.
Absolutely.
I think it's a real issue that is not necessarily being addressed as successfully and as succinctly with the school districts as well as with federal funding. And I want to know, like, what kind of collaboration do you bring forth to really change the way in which our prison systems are funded?
So, how are prison systems funded and the school-to-jail pipeline? Basically, too often, what used to be small discipline problems that were handled within the school becomes a law enforcement problem. And you have young kids who are at risk end up in the court system, and there's so many studies that show once they're in that court system, they never get out. And if they have been incarcerated even for a few days, their likelihood of ending up in prison is much higher. So that's why we have to have these sort of programs that I was talking about, to intervene early, to try to give kids responsible choices, things they can do so that they don't get in trouble at first, and also to work with the school district, and I'm proud that I have the support of a number of members of the school board, where we can work with them so that they're not using the criminal justice system to solve school discipline problems. Right. Now, what we do about funding our prisons, what we have to do is make sure that we are sending people to prison who truly are threats to our public safety instead of nonviolent offenders. It is atrocious in this state. African Americans make up 4% of the state's population and 19% of our prisons. We have to put a handle on that and figure out that disparities, because it's something that we should all be ashamed of. Have time?
Yeah, one more question, and then we're...
To that point, are the intervention programs you're talking about, for lack of a better word, in the schools going to address the fact that children of color tend to get in trouble more at school than other kids?
It absolutely has to address that fact, because it's a reality, and it is part of this school-to-prison pipeline. Kids are being disciplined disproportionately and end up on that pipeline that unfortunately can be a one-way ticket to prison. So,
okay.
I want to, how much more of your agenda do you have?
A fair amount.
Okay, so I do have another event I was supposed to get to. I respect for my one of my opponents, Helen. I will stay for her remarks, and want to thank you all. My website is on there, and I'd love to have your support. And if you have any questions, please contact me. Thank you.
Michael, thank you. But if you need to get on, we have talked lots, and I completely respect your need for calendar.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I have spent 22 years trying cases in Denver, and I've looked at a lot of people's faces in juries. And what a lot of you are saying, gosh, if you could say it in 5 as opposed to 500 words, we'd really appreciate it. So I'm going to do my best. My name is Helen Morgan. I am currently a Chief Deputy District Attorney in the Denver District Attorney's Office. I run our county court division, which means that we handle 12,000 cases a year in the Denver area, and I manage 12 lawyers. As I said, I have been trying cases in front of juries for over 20 years. In fact, next year, or next month, I celebrate my 22nd anniversary at the Denver District Attorney's Office. In many ways, I've had a traditional trajectory in the DA's office. I have tried 20 homicide cases. I spent 5 years of my career prosecuting a white supremacist prison gang. But in other ways, I have done non-traditional things that I am extremely proud of, and really started the movement that we're now talking about nationwide, that I'm delighted to be supporting. Back in 2007, I was asked to restart our drug court as part of the prevention, the bail bonds thing that Mayor Hickenlooper installed at the time with the Crime Prevention and Control Commission. And so what we did from the DA's office is we went in and said, there is no need to use our jail system for people who are nonviolent offenders who need either mental health or drug and alcohol treatment. That is a waste of everybody's resources. So we reformulated the program, and right now we have programs within our drug court that deal not only with people who have substance abuse and mental health issues, we deal with folks with developmental disabilities, we have a veterans track, and we also now have a young man's track, where we talk to young men who are offending not only about the impact that they have, that their crime has on themselves, but also their family, and then ultimately their community. I was part of a program back in the late 90s called the Community Justice Program. And when people talk about community, I've been part of that. I worked in the Globeville neighborhood, which has similar issues sometimes that we see here. We worked with young people, we worked with community groups, we worked with elder groups to teach them not only about what we do, but how we can intersect and assist each other. Unfortunately, the funding was lost, and we chose not to continue with that program, and that was a disservice to the community. We'll get back and do that when I'm DA. I was also a community prosecutor in Capitol Hill. Very different issues in Capitol Hill. Neighborhoods concerned about quality of life, but different issues. And again, I worked with people in the neighborhood to bring back that sort of sense that you have a voice in where we are, as opposed to you have to pay $12 to park to come and see us. So a few things that I want to do when we talk about community. Community means listening, it means being present, and it means addressing immediate needs. Please do not cut your neighbor's bush. And so, I don't want to see you in 3 days. So just don't do that. It also means there was a question earlier about the alley. I'd be delighted to come back with the cops too and talk about when you can stop people, when you can't stop people, and sort of the limitations that we have and the opportunities that we have. And I say that as the person who literally chased someone down my alley in my slippers one morning saying, if you try and spray paint one more time, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then realized,
that is exactly what I want to do.
Don't. Because as I stood there, I said, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. And I've been a DA for 22 years. And then I called, because as I was screaming, promising the cops were on their way,
No,
I thought I should
go.
go. Yeah, no, they didn't. But anyway, I would love to do that, because you need to know what they can and cannot do. And actually, I was pretty proud of these cops. I've taught at the academy for 15 years. They know their Constitution, and I started teaching them that, so I felt good about that. But I'm happy to do that. We talk about trust, too. I've, as I said, worked with the police department for a long period of time. I believe, and I see, I'm on call this week, so I spend a lot of time with police officers, that people get up as officers and want to do the right thing every day. They do. But there are challenges, and sometimes the right decisions are not made. And if they're not made, people, just like everybody here, need to be held accountable. And I've been doing that for 22 years. And I want to talk a little about victims. We talk about offenders who are overrepresented in the criminal justice system. No question. It's an issue that we must address on a daily basis. But we also have to address the fact that victims of color are wildly overrepresented in the Denver area and throughout the country. Why is that? Why isn't it that people aren't getting the help that they need? It does not matter to me if you come to my office on the bus or on a BMW. I've spent my career talking to people who have been affected by crime, and I look forward to doing it for the next 4, 8, 12 years. I'm running as an independent. I'm running as an independent because I don't think politics should have anything to do with being the chief law enforcement officer in Denver. So November is my election, and I look forward to coming back and talking with you more. I'm happy to take questions, but I'm also happy to wait until the end so that we can get on with it.
Do you have any pressing questions right now?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the makeup of the lawyers that you currently oversee in terms of ethnicity and race? And is it representative of the community at large?
No. I will tell you no. We have one African-American deputy, for my deputies, I have one African-American woman, and the rest are white men or women. They need to represent the community, and they don't. Let me tell you, part of the challenge is that our traditional hiring practices that I don't have anything to do with have not sought young people when they are considering a career in the DA's office. Our number one way of recruiting people is getting them through law school, right? First or second year. And so what we have to do, and what I've instructed the folks who are now running my intern program to do, is get out into law schools and start promoting positively our office. Because I've spoken to many people, young people, who say, I don't trust that your office does the right thing. So why would I come work with you? And we have to entice people in and encourage them to come so they can see the good work that we do. More than one person has said to me, I was surprised. I was really surprised to have conversations consistently about what is the right thing, not what is the political thing. And that's what we got to let people know. Thank you.
What role do you feel the DA's office has in sort of combating, I mean, combating is the wrong word, but it seems to be a militarization of the police forces around America. It doesn't seem as Denver has gotten quite as bad as Chicago, Baltimore. Other cities have been in the news.
Mm-hmm.
What would DA's role be in hopefully keeping Denver out of that?
You don't want tanks down federal?
Pretty much no.
No. Well,
Well, maybe on Sunday.
maybe on
Maybe on Sunday.
Maybe on Super Bowl Sunday the Broncos win.
yeah, that may be. I always say that because in county court we have a lot of careless resulting in death cases that come from federal and a lot of traffic accidents. So I'm pretty familiar with large parts of federal. Look, we all work better when we are out of our building, our car, our tank, whatever it is, when we're talking. I don't have a role, the DA does not have a role in telling the police department specifically, this is what you have to do and this is where you can get money. But we do have a role in improving community relations as a whole. I've talked to a lot of police officers, like the ones who are here today, and others who say, I'm not interested in SWAT training, I'm interested in people training. And so I think our office has a role in being part of that and working with communities who have an interest in what we do and how to make it better, and being part of that. The over-militarization, the money that has been spent on tanks that don't need to be used is criminal because Marcus needs that money. He needs it for his organization. He needs it for houses. So to the extent that we can influence it, great. Did that answer your question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay.